Hello again everyone, and welcome back to Linode. In today's video, what we're going to do is check out iPerf. iPerf is an awesome tool for testing out bandwidth to and from your servers, so let's go ahead and have a look. Alright, so let's go ahead and get started with iPerf. First of all, we'll need to install iPerf. And for this to work, we're going to need to install it on my local machine as well as the target machine. Now on my end, I'm going to be using the apt install command to get iPerf onto the system. And that works for me because I'm running Ubuntu on my local machine as well as the remote server. If you're using a different distribution, then feel free to adjust the commands accordingly. For example, it's DNF instead of apt for Fedora. If you're running Arch, it's going to be Pacman. Specifically Pacman-S in your case for iPerf. You just include the name of the package with the package manager for your distro, and you should be good to go. So here on my laptop, I'll run sudo apt install, and the name of the package that I want to install is iPerf. I'll press enter, type in my super secret password, and as you can see, it was literally that easy. So next what I'm going to do is do the exact same thing, but this time on the remote server. So on my end, I will type SSH and then my username, and then the IP address after the @ symbol. And let's do it. So just like before, I'll install iPerf here as well. And that's done. In that example, I used the apt command in order to install the package. That's specific to Debian and Ubuntu. But if you're running a different distribution, then just replace apt with whatever the name of your package manager happens to be. The package name for iPerf should be the same on at least most distributions. But if it's different, just consult the documentation for your distribution to find out which package manager you should be using, as well as the name of the package for iPerf in your case. Now here in my server, what I'm going to do is run iPerf in server mode, and I could do that by running iPerf and giving it the option -s, just like that. And now it's showing that the server is listening on TCP port 5001. And nothing is happening right now because the server is waiting for a connection. So what I'm going to do is just open up a new tab. And in this tab, I'm on my local machine. So I will run iPerf and then -c for client mode. Next, I'll type the IP address for the server that I want to connect to. And this should be the same one that we're running iPerf in server mode on. And the port of 5001 should be the default. So if all goes well, I should be able to press enter and start the test. So let's go over here to the server. And here we can see the results. Now on my end, the upload speed on my internet connection is a bit challenged, so we're not going to expect any amazing results from my machine. But as you can see here, it is working. We also have the results here on the client as well. So back on the server, I can end the test by holding Control and pressing C. And another thing that we could do is test UDP as well. TCP is being tested by default, but we could also test UDP, which is pretty cool. And to do that, we give it yet another option, this time -u. Just like before, that starts the test. Then we can go to the client. And the command for the client, for the most part, is the same, but we add the -u option at the end. So I'll press enter. And here you can see my results with UDP. Now another thing that you could do is run iPerf in bidirectional mode. And this is really cool. So what I'll do is end the current test that I have running on the server right now. And next what I'll do is start another one. So iPerf -s, just like the first time. And now that that's running, what I'm going to do over here is run another test, this time in bidirectional mode. But the problem though is I'm not going to be able to run a bidirectional test from my laptop. And the reason for that is because my firewall will essentially shoot that down. So what I'll do instead is I'll connect to another Linode instance. and there's the IP address for that instance. Next, what I'm going to do is run apt update. Make sure we're all up to date. And then next, just like the first time, I will run apt install and then the package name of iPerf. And there we go. Now the first server right here, it's patiently waiting for a connection. So let's go ahead and give it a connection. So what I'm going to do is run iPerf -C. I want to connect to the first server, the original one. And there's the IP address for that server. And the difference this time is I'm going to include the -D option. I want to do a bidirectional test like I mentioned, so I'll press enter. Let's see what happens. And when it comes to output, we're seeing 2 lines on the bottom instead of 1. So we're getting some decent bandwidth here, as you can see. Here on the server, we can see essentially the same thing. So essentially with the bidirectional test, we were able to test the bandwidth both directions from one Linode server to the other. You can already see that the speed is a lot faster than the speed that I got the first time. And the reason for that is because Linode is not going to be a victim to my ISP's upload speed, because we're going directly from one Linode instance to another. And that's some pretty good bandwidth right there, I have to say. Now, there's some additional examples in the documentation page that matches this video, so feel free to check that out for even more examples of iPerf. So there you go. As you just saw, iPerf is a great utility that you can use to test out your bandwidth. So hopefully the examples that I gave you in today's video will help you get started with this utility. So anytime you need to test out your bandwidth, iPerf is a great way to go. If you like this video, make sure you click that like button because that lets YouTube know that you want to see more content just like this, and also subscribe if you haven't already done so, and I'll see you again very soon. Thanks for watching.